Good morning. We are sending data.
Happy second day of Holy Week.
Second day of Holy Week.
Happy on Holy Week sounds like the wrong greeting.
Yeah, but I don't know what the right greeting would be.
We are glad that you are here and joining us for the second day of Holy Week, and we have the tea steeping. It's been going for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so we will drink that after a devotional reading. Do you want to do the reading or the
Try the reading. We'll see how it goes. I don't
Holy
have
Monday?
glasses.
Oh, maybe I'll read everything.
In case you are worried that a week spent in the scriptures would lose your attention even for a moment, enter Jesus into the temple. What unfolds next is one of the most well-known scenes in biblical history, which, when viewed through the lens of the culture, points us once again to Jesus' true purpose for this week. What it must have been like to stand in that temple, a crowd pressing you from every angle, and the shouts of buyers and sellers alike assaulting your senses until it was hard to focus. Imagine the sudden commotion and stunned silence that would have fallen over the people like a cloud as Jesus, with hands worn and calloused, gripped the tables and benches and heaved them so. What did Jesus' voice sound like as over the sound of coins rattling to their resting place, he whispered, spoke, or shouted the words of Jeremiah, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." Here, friends, context is key. Jesus' righteous anger was not pointed at the mercantilism.
Ooh, that's a word.
Yes, the act of merchandising things and selling things.
I'm surprised it wasn't capitalism, but
Mercantilism,
is a great word.
for it was just a symptom of a greater sickness. No, his indignity was pointed at the heart of the issue. Misuse of the temple grounds had led the people of God away from putting on display the prophetic vision of the new creation. The people of God had packed the outer courts in order to make a profit off of what should have been worshipful. And as if that wasn't bad enough, in doing so, they left no physical space for Gentiles and outcasts to come to seek the true God. Have you? Perhaps you are a believer today, anxious to catch another glimpse of Jesus, eager to join him once again in the chorus that greets him there. Hosanna to the Son of David. Have you packed your heart and mind, or even your church, with so many things that you've forgotten your doors are to be flung wide so that Jesus can be on display and call people to himself through your life? Wanderer, maybe you are still following this supposed Messiah with an investigative eye, waiting to see if he is who he claims to be. Have you left any space in your mind for the possibility that all of this is real and that there is a God who paid a price to be in relationship with you? Either way, there is much to consider and many days still to come. And then we have our song lyrics, I think. Hymn. All to Jesus I surrender, humbly at his feet I bow. Worldly pleasures all forsaken, take me, Jesus, take me now.
I appreciate that they have a hymn at the end. I think this is my only critique of the reading that I found today. I kind of wish it was just a prayer.
Yeah, same thing with yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Yesterday was lovely having the song lyrics, but I was expecting a prayer in there somewhere.
And thinking about the mercantilism, I said capitalism, but there would not have been capitalism at the time, so that's probably why it's a good choice of word. Okay. Jesus entered the temple courts, drove out all those who were buying and selling. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. "It is written," he said to them, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." The blind and lame came to him at the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and the teacher of the law saw the wonderful things he did, and the children shouting in the temple courts, "Hosanna to the Son of David," they were indignant. "Do you hear what these children are saying?" they asked him. "Yes," he said. "Have you never read, from the lips of children and infants, you, Lord, have called forth your praise?" And then he left them and went out into the city of Bethany, where he spent the night. Early the next morning, I am sad they didn't comment on this. Early the next morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it and found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, "May you never bear fruit again." Immediately the tree withered. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. "How did the fig tree wither so quickly?" they asked. Okay, we're going to talk about that. John 12:8. This does not make sense. Is that a mistake? That feels like a mistake. Nope. This feels like a mistake. Not the scripture's bad, but it doesn't feel like it fits. Okay. "You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me."
Yeah.
I think I would have gone down to "Do not be afraid, daughter of Zion. See, your king comes to you seated on a donkey's colt." Or something. Something connected to, like... Okay, I am not disappointed. Disappointed's not the word, but I have been diving into the fig story with better understanding and clarity every year for the last decade, really. And the fig tree, for many of us, especially if we've grown up in the church or are skeptical, the fig tree seems like an overreaction. What's another way of describing it?
Out of place.
Out of place, out of character, even for Jesus. Like, what did this poor fig tree ever do? It doesn't have fruit. What's the big deal?
The fig tree is not about the fig tree.
The fig tree is not about the fig tree. You've heard me on this rant before.
But,
it's not a rant, but it is a teaching moment.
But the interesting thing I find about the scriptures in general is very often the thing is not about the thing. Like I think that's true for a lot of the New Testament, especially in the Gospels.
Is that because there's a lot of parables?
Not just a lot of parables, but like we just finished last night an in-depth study of the book of Colossians, or the letter to the people of Colossae, and the number of times where we read something and somebody around the table says, "Well, what did Paul mean by this?" And as we talk about it, we're like, maybe this word isn't specifically what our understanding of this word is. Maybe it's about a bigger thing. Maybe it's about, like, and I feel like that's a lot of the New Testament, where the thing is not about the thing.
Okay, so you've heard me do this, have this conversation. The fig tree is not about the fig tree. What is it about?
Jesus regularly talks about having good fruit or bad fruit, right? And my understanding of it, and I believe in general most people's understanding of it, is the good fruit or the bad fruit is how do we, in our lives, in our actions, act out the commandments that Jesus has put before us, to love one another, to love our neighbor as ourselves, to love God with all our hearts, minds, and souls. And therefore, the bad fruit is acting out of character of that.
Okay.
So when you talk about Jesus goes to the fig tree because he's hungry and looking for fruit, there's that parallelism of the Jesus goes to the temple looking for good fruit and finds nothing.
So that's exactly right. Like, the fig tree is actually a condemnation of a religious institution that had stepped out of... It should have fruit. It has all the signs of having fruit. It is putting on all the religiosity of a place that is supposed to be a blessing, and lacks the blessing. Yeah. Lacks the presence of God in how they are bringing people to God.
Yeah.
And I know in Mark's gospel it says, which seems again to be like out of character for Jesus. It says there was no fruit because it was out of season, or it was out of season, but he went to check and there was no fruit. Which again is like, well, if it's out of season, there wouldn't be fruit. Except when you understand how fig trees grow, from the beginning of the budding, tiny fruit starts growing. So even though it was out of season, there should have been signs of fruit. With no fruit, it meant that this fig tree wasn't producing what it was supposed to produce. It wasn't producing anything. And it's a critique and a condemnation of the religious system at the time. At least that is how I have grown to interpret it based on a lot of readings and insights from other people. The fig tree is not about the fig tree.
No.
It's about when religious institutions do all the Jesus talk without the Jesus living. If we are not going to feed the poor, or comfort the mourning, or welcome the outsider, specifically, like, Jesus talks about welcoming those who are foreign into your in-group, providing for those in need, loving those.
And he even does it, right?
Multiple times.
We look at, we look at his closest 12, but then we also look at the number of times he goes into the communities that were considered the outcast communities, whether it be Samaria, whether that be the lepers, whether that be
Sinners.
Yeah.
People who were tax collectors were Jewish people who were seen by the Jewish community as traitors siding with Rome, and Jesus went and befriended them.
Approaching the woman at the well.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't they stumbled into my house, I'll welcome them. He was actively seeking them out.
Oh my goodness. Now we're going to talk about the tea. So, what do you think of the tea?
Interesting. It feels like it has a touch of an aftertaste.
I think there is some stevia or one of those type of flavors in it. So today's tea is a new tea that we've never tried. We had picked this one up.
This isn't the hot chocolate tea, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
It's a fruit infusion tea.
Okay.
And we bought it fully just for the name. That was the reason we bought it.
Oh, is this s'mores?
Nope.
Okay.
Because that's a chai tea. This is not caffeinated. I went with a non-caffeinated because I know you prefer non-caffeinated. We will be trying the s'mores chai sometime. Okay.
I think I like it.
This is called Unicorn Dream.
Oh.
Magically enchanting. It's an apple, hibiscus, coconut, lemongrass, artificial flavor, marshmallow, bean peel, sprinkles. I guess I can kind of, like, it doesn't come across this way, but if you look down, you can kind of see a shimmer.
Maybe. I have a hard time seeing it, but I also don't have glasses on, so it makes it hard to see anything.
Pineapple, sugar pearls, butterfly pea flowers, papaya, mellow.
Whatever that is.
I'm thinking that's marshmallow because they look like marshmallow bits.
Okay.
Mallow, sandy everlasting flower, rose, raspberry, sunflower blossom, stevia extract.
Ah, it does have the stevia. Thought I tasted that.
Yeah.
I don't mind the stevia initially. It's the fact that it tends to linger for a while afterwards. It's not always pleasant, but it's a nice tea.
We had friends over for a meal last week, and we had one of our teas, and one person in the couple does not like tea, and they tried the drink and were like, well, it tastes like tea. And in some ways, that's how I feel about this. I'm like, yeah, it's a cup of tea.
It's sweet. It's a sweet tea. I would definitely say it's a sweet tea.
It is, at moments, very delightful.
Mm-hmm.
And at moments, the stevia aftertaste is a bit much. I would probably drink it again. I don't know if I would go out of my way to buy it again.
Right.
Because we totally bought it just for the name.
That is fair. I mean, we did smell it in the store and go, yeah, that smells kind of nice. We'll get it.
Well, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it's a lot like coffee. It smells lovely. it does not naturally match what it tastes like.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish coffee actually tasted the way coffee smelled.
If coffee tasted like coffee ice cream, I would drink it every day.
Yeah, because we have those coffee candies that you can't actually eat because they are trace wheat, whatever. Anyway,
Most candies I can't have these days.
especially the hard candies. So we have some coffee candies at the church in the office, and every once in a while I'll grab one, and it is all of the coffee flavor without any of the bitterness of coffee. So it's actually quite a nice way of getting coffee.
It's coffee ice cream. Coffee ice cream is delightful. I do not find coffee delightful. And now, some of you will be correcting me on my ignorance, but I will enjoy my cup of tea.
Because tea is your cup of tea, not coffee.
Coffee is not my cup of tea. I don't really have anything else to say. We have a full day ahead of us as we
Yes.
enter into Holy Week. I have one specific task that I need to complete to get ready for Good Friday. And I have two major tasks this week. I have one final paper for my last class that is due on the 17th.
Mm-hmm.
And today is the 14th, so it's due Thursday.
Thursday.
And then on Friday, I need to have an enormous painting finished and dry before we head over to Russell Free Methodist Church here in Kingston for our 11 a.m. service. And at 10 a.m., I need to be helping set up and get ready for our joint service with their church.
So realistically, that should be done by Wednesday night,
So
Thursday
it can
morning.
dry.
Thursday morning at the latest.
Yeah. The nice thing is it's going to be acrylic based, not oil based. So acrylic will dry fast. It's more the size of it is very large.
It's a 3 foot by 4 foot canvas.
I'm so excited
It's a sail.
oh yeah, I couldn't get through the parking lot. I kept like getting blown away because it was so big when I picked it up. I was gonna say something right before that.
Sorry, I derailed you.
Yeah. Poof. Idea's gone. Anyway.
But we do have it. It's just down over there. We have some paints that's in a bag over there. So we have all the materials. We have some paintbrushes somewhere, and if not, I know where there's a whole bunch more at the church. So we've got all the things. We just need to set you up on an easel so you can get going on it.
Yeah. Well, and I think even the base coat, if we put something down on this, it is so big though. Like I cannot reach across it. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I knew I needed to pick this up, and giant canvases are normally quite pricey. Like buying them at Michael's on the regular price, they're like $90 or so. The day I went in, it was like a 75% off sale. So I got this like normally $90 canvas for $35. I was so happy. Oh, God likes me. It's good to sometimes remember God is on your side.
Does not like our car though.
Oh, well, that's another story for a different day. Friends, thank you for joining us for tea and devotion this morning and for my random ramblings. Or, not random, rabbit trail ramblings. I hope you have a blessed day, and we will see you tomorrow at 7. Bye!